everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I have a show to suggest you watch, or a show to watch. Netflix's Black Mirror. Now, this is a show that I instantly fell, not in love with, but engaged with. It's so intriguing, it's so fascinating. Black Mirror is essentially a futuristic / new interpretation on the Twilight Zone. And the Twilight Zone was an amazing show, obviously, you know. And the Twilight Zone was an amazing show because it was like, it really, like, the Twilight Zone had so many, like, range from so many different things to funny, to creepy, to thought-provoking. And Black Mirror is also something like that. There are episodes of this show that are terrifying. There are episodes of this show that are profoundly thought-provoking. I mean, like, keep you up at night, thought-provoking. There are episodes that are funny. There are episodes that are, but I would say almost every episode is trying to be thought-provoking. And it's a show of shorts. They're about an hour. Each episode's about an hour, maybe, give or take. And some are shorter, but some of them are about an hour to like 40 minutes. And each episode is completely, like, is shot differently, is different visually, has different actors. Sometimes a bigger actor. For instance, like there's some actors and actresses in this show who were in it before they became big actresses and actors. But I digress. The show is fascinating. Like, and it really plays with the futuristic aspect, particularly the dangers of the future and the dangers of the advanced technologies beyond the Skynet of it all, of, oh my god, AI. There's another danger to it of just life being different and it being harder in some aspects and being easier in some aspects. Like, there are some really interesting, really cool episodes. There's a really thought-provoking episode called I believe it's called the White Bear, and that episode is very, like, it is. There's some, like, I remember I showed Seth this shit. I showed Seth this show, and like he couldn't watch it because it was too depressing. Because like it gets crazy. There's an episode, another thought-provoking episode about. And it takes place in Britain, because it's a British show, by the way. It's a British show, so most of the actors and actresses are British. And, you know, because it started off on the British broadcast channel, and, you know, or it started off, or it was created there, and then, you know, picked up by Netflix. And because season 1 came out in like 2011, but I believe I can't remember if it came out on Netflix when it was picked up, or if it came out and then it was picked up. But either way, season 1 came out in 2011, and had a couple actors that would go on to be pretty big actors. What's his face from goddamn Get Out was in one episode. Really good episode, in fact. But there's a bunch of actors who would go on to become bigger names in like Hollywood who were in a couple of these episodes of this show. But you know, to get more into it though a little bit is, you know, it really plays with that futuristic aspect, and it plays with the idea of the real dangers that come from letting machines or letting technology do certain things. There's an episode where soldiers go out and all they can see, and like soldiers are forced to like go through this small little procedure, which seems like a small procedure, and all they see is the enemy and it's a commentary on war in general, of people wanting you to see your enemy as nothing more than just a bloodthirsty or a villain or something to make it easy for you to kill them. And like there's things on that. There are like, particularly there's one episode that is fascinating. There's a couple episodes that are fascinating. There's an episode on a phone dating app on that process, and that one was wild. But the White Bear one is like, I'll just tell you this, White Bear, like, 'cause I don't want to. It's hard to talk about this show because at least season 1, everything is so like, what in the fuck? I will spoil one episode, and I can't remember the name of the episode off the top of my head. But there's a particular episode where a very high-ranking government official, somebody I don't know what Britain has, what the highest-ranking official you can be in Britain, but this guy had to be it. Like, someone kidnapped some other higher-up's daughter kidnapped her and said that if you do not fuck a pig, I will chop her into the pieces and mail them to you. And they broadcast this all around the world. So everyone in the world saw this guy say, if this big time dude does not fuck this pig, this girl's gonna die. And at first, when the episode starts, you're like, this is utterly fucking ridiculous. I would never fuck a pig. You're not gonna, this is bullshit, this is ridiculous. I'm not gonna fuck a pig. But then when the day goes on, and parts start showing up. A finger, an arm, and you start going, and once again, he's putting this all out in public. And now he is pressuring this guy into fucking this pig. Now, clearly, the whole thing is set up to be more of a humiliation, to just show the power of public and whatnot. Because this dude's a government official. He's hired by the public. And it's so fascinating to watch the public go from, this is utterly ridiculous, that's sick, that's disgusting, how could you do that? To by the time the show got near its conclusion, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but by the time that episode got to conclusion, all you saw was the public going, how selfish are you that you're going to let a little girl die and not because your dignity becomes before this little girl's life? And that kind of thing started to build. And it was like this interesting story on just how you can shape public. You know what I mean? How you can manipulate the public so fucking easily. The masses so easily. How easily they went from, this is ridiculous, to, oh my God, you're gonna let a little girl die because you're too scared, because you're too much of a man to fuck a pig? Who gives a fuck? And in his mind, and his people are telling him different things. They're like, dude, if you let this little girl die, there's no way you can live it down. People are gonna be like, you're a murderer, you let this girl die. But if you fuck this pig, people are gonna call you pig fucker. And his wife was also giving him a hard time, like, you can't do this. And it's like, it was a fascinating, and it's ridiculous, but it was fascinating. It was fascinating. And that's one of the more fascinating ones, because some of them get really dark. And some of them are bittersweet. There's one that was, about this older couple, like in the future, apparently in this episode, in the future, the humanity figures out how to fucking, humanity creates heaven, essentially. Heaven is a place on Earth, and it's in a hard drive. We figure out how to create a digital heaven, and we figure out how to upload people's consciousness into this digital version of a paradise. And people, and elderly people, and older people who have the money to afford it can pay to have their consciousness, when they're about to die, when they're on their deathbed, to have their consciousness uploaded to this, paradise place. And these two older people find each other in this paradise place, these two women, and they fall in love and whatnot. But as it turns out, one of them is permanently here, while the other one is just kind of visiting this thing. It's kind of like a nice little trip for her. It's kind of like cause she's on her last legs too. But she wanted to do this, have fun, have a blast, do something, and then come back to her body and peacefully pass the normal way. But then it becomes more complicated. Things are revealed about one of the other girls, and it becomes sad, and it becomes sad again, and it becomes just like, man, it was a bittersweet episode. It's one of those episodes that just leaves you just like, oh my God, like what the fuck? There's so many episodes like that. There's a very hardcore political episode called was it the Waldo? I think was it Waldo Effect or something like that? That episode was interesting from a political standpoint. How easily and how often something starts off as a legitimate, like, fight the power kind of thing. Like, fight the power, how easily it can all of a sudden be twisted and become propaganda for the people who were fighting the power against to begin with. And it's, and like I say, there are very thought-provoking episodes. Particularly, that first episode is hilarious to me, because I got pissed. The first episode, which has, what's his name from, oh man, I know his name. but I'm like blanking on his face. He was in Fantastic Four Stick. Oh man, I'm forgetting his name, but there's a couple actors in that show that are like, you know, pretty well recognizable. But either way, you know, like I love this show. It's an anthology. Anthologies are awesome to me. I love anthologies. Like I love Death and Robots. You know, love anthologies. I love the What If. What If was so fun like that. And this is another anthology. This is a very, if you're not ready to think, and I'm not talking about, oh, this is too smart for me. I'm talking like, if you're not ready to contemplate some shit, your morality, particularly with the white, I did the White Bear episode. I didn't, like, the White Bear episode really fucked with me. Because it made me go, man, what would I do in that situation? A lot of these episodes are actually kind of like that. A lot of these episodes are like that where you're just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I would do. Like, what would I'm not sure what I would do. Like, would I just, you know, go there? Would I, you know, what would I do? And a lot of these episodes really play that up. A lot of these episodes are so well done. Last season withstanding, except that one episode with Anthony Mackie, which also left me kind of like, I'm not sure. That's a weird fucking, like, that's this show. The show puts you in weird fucking scenarios that you've never thought about or you wouldn't have thought about, and then they ask you to answer the question, and you're just like, dude. And that's what Black Mirror is awesome about. I hope that another season, I think they got another season coming. I hope they got another season coming. I love this show. It's fucking thought-provoking as hell. Anyways, thank you guys for joining. I would give Black Mirror as a show, it's a 10 out of 10. I love it. I think it's one of the best shows on Netflix. It's one of the best anthology things of all time. It is the spiritual successor to The Twilight Zone. And I'm hoping for more, better, and forward. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show again. Please don't like, subscribe, and have you seen Black Mirror on Netflix? If you haven't, I'd say check it out. It can be a bit much, you know, in the thought-provoking territory. It's deep, dude. Look, if you're not looking to be depressed or think or be really or be provoked, either way, I wouldn't watch the show. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show again. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.